Hello, this is Cherry at the movies, and I am very excited about the new film Profile. It's based on a true story about a journalist who embeds herself using Facebook to connect with a terrorist who uses seduction to tempt young girls and women into joining his militia group in Syria. The movie is directed by Tamer Berkamatov, written by him, Britt Polton, and Olga Karina, and the film is starring Valene Kane and Shazad Latif. Now, I have the opportunity to interview Valene Kane this morning to discuss her role. And well, let's start now. Oh, hi, good morning, I think, in the UK.
No, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where are you?
I'm in Los Angeles, so I'm with.
So good morning to you.
Good morning to me. I got up bright and early. I put on makeup.
You look gorgeous.
You look gorgeous. I love the film. It was so different. Oh, my name is Cherry. I'm with CherryLosAngeles, and I'm very excited to speak with you about the movie. I just have a few questions. So, what attracted you to the role? Had you read the book before hearing about the movie?
No, there was a lot of secrecy involved with this casting process that sometimes happens, with big Marvel films or sci-fi films. And there was this similar feeling. I think because of the subject matter, they didn't want to really, when they're casting the net really wide, they don't want to tell you what it's really about. But what attracted to me originally was the idea of working with Timur. I was a fan of his work, and also the fact that it was an improvisation-based film. It's like improvisation is my jam. It's like my background. It's where I've come from. And it's very rare to find projects now where you're allowed to improvise. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely a huge big draw. And then just every recall, every step. It was one of those projects where everything felt right. It was like, yes, yes, yes. Director, producers, Shazad, the material, the book. Oh my God. Anna is a real person. Fucking hell. There was just a lot of like, when like you get loads of signs of like, tick, 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 this is the project for you. It was one of those, like, I remember when I did my final self-tape for it, I was like, this is mine.
Spoke it into existence.
What?
You spoke it into existence.
Yeah. I knew it was mine.
Oh my gosh. One of the scenes that I thought was really fascinating was how the seduction went. He's very handsome, I will not lie. How was it with you just trying to improvise a seduction? Did you watch any videos on YouTube about how some of these groups use YouTube to seduce young women to come over?
I did endless research and tried to do like all of the subterranean, dark web stuff, because I wanted to figure out what Anna would have seen when she was doing her research. So that was slightly terrifying. And also, it made me think like, this is it for me now. My computer is forever a computer that's involved in terrorism, because that's all that I was Googling at the time. Mm-hmm. But I think I didn't research the seduction bit because I wanted it to feel really natural and organic with me and Shazad. Like when we first met and like our first rehearsal, we were like, oh, this is going to be easy. Like we both come from a similar background, and we're in terms of our acting styles, and we both approached the material in the same way. So there was never, sometimes you work with precious actors who are like, no, let's figure out what we're doing and then stick to that. Whereas we were both just like, let's just see what happens, And I think that's what was so nice. And when I watched the film for the first time, I had this real moment of like, I believe her. I'm not watching myself. I believe this character, which is all you ever want to do as an actor,
I watched it and I thought it must have been so emotionally challenging to do it. How was it at the end of each, scene or end of shooting for the day, for you to sort of decompress, or did you stay in that moment over the course of the filming?
I sort of stayed in the moment. It was such an intense period of time. There was no I find it very hard to let go of things anyway when I'm shooting. I sort of go in deep and then I find it very hard to sort of come out. So it tends to be when I'm shooting, I don't sleep very much and then I sort of just stay in that. And my partner is really good. He sort of knows to just leave me alone because I don't want to have a conversation. And I think what was really helpful was me and Shazad had this very intense rehearsal period, but then he left. So there was no lunch in our trailers together. You know, there was no drinks after work. He wasn't in the country. So I really felt his distance and it really felt like we weren't actors wrapping up for the day, you know, which I think just anything that you can do to make yourself feel the world more is helpful. And then it did take a while to like shake it off at, you know, when we wrapped. It was one of those really emotional wraps where we were like, is this it? Oh my God. Because we, you know, we really lived together. There was no trailers. There was no going back, you know, we were just all in one house. They were all in one room. I was in another. And then Timur was with his second, Shazad was with his second crew in Cyprus. So it was like tiny. It was like, you know, it was proper guerrilla filmmaking. It wasn't your normal.
That must have been very fascinating to live with everyone and really get to know each other like that. There was one scene that really I felt so hard. It was a microaggression towards Lou. How was that filming it? And then when Vic said something to you, how did that make you sort of react as a person?
I think all of us were of a similar backgrounds. So in terms of acting styles. So, you know, Amir was really knew that I was just going to throw some shit at him, you know, and he was really good at taking it. And then afterwards I'd be like, I'm so sorry, you know? Whereas I think Christine working in America on big shows for such a long period of time, that I think for her, she was like, what are you guys doing? Why are you going off script? Like it took her a few beats to be like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And then obviously it was dreamy, but I think that's what was interesting was it's all about trust. If you trust the other actor, you know, there's certain boundaries, but let's play and let's push and let's see what, you know, how dynamic and real we can make this world.
It felt really real when I was watching it. And I have one final question about the movie and working
Yeah.
on it. Um, so doing the screen life, was this your first experience doing screen life? And how was it sort of navigating it from your past experience as an actor, Tris?
Um, so I watched Unfriended. We both had to watch Unfriended because it is such a unique form of filmmaking. And when I think when someone tells you what it is, you just haven't, you're like, what? So you really have to watch what, you know, or searching to figure out, but searching wasn't out. But I watched Unfriended. But you know, for me, because it was my screen being filmed, everything I was doing on it was going to be in the final edit. So it was like learning a new language, which was difficult. And I think what was cool was, you know, in finding that language, we were able to show the interior life of Amy because we couldn't see her. Like in a normal film, we'd be able to, you know, have cutaways of how she was really feeling, but we only saw her face when she was on a call or Skyping or FaceTiming, you know, but it was the texting and the writing and seeing her movements on screen that informed you how she was feeling. And I think that's new and really exciting of like how films might use that more, you know. I mean, we see it now with texting, you know, the dots. Is he gonna reply?
They
He's
never
writing.
do. They never do me. You probably all the time.
No, I've had so many frogs.
They're all frogs.
They're all
Sounds
frogs.
like you found your prince. I'm very happy for you. I want
Yes,
to
very much.
I want to thank you for speaking with me. It was a pleasure seeing the film and talking with you. And congratulations on the movie. It was so fascinating to watch. It was really good.
Thank you, Cherry. It's so lovely speaking to you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you so much for speaking with me, Valene, about your upcoming film, Profile, out in theaters on May 14th. Please subscribe to Cherry Los Angeles and then follow me on Twitter and Instagram at cherry_LA. Thank you, and make sure to follow me for all the pop culture news. And once theaters are open, I'll save the middle seat beside me.